How's it going, everyone? It's Tommy from Weather SpongeBob. Today is May 10th, 2021, and today we're going to focus on the severe weather that's expected to impact a lot of the southeast later today and into the next couple of days, as well as the next potential severe weather that could impact the Great Plains next week. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you all see even more weather content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the current radar right now. It's very late when I'm recording this, and by the time you're watching this video, it's probably going to be right around 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So expect a lot of these rain showers to be further eastward, and another thing you should expect is an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms throughout the Carolinas headed into this afternoon, and we could also see the risk of severe weather in the right around southern Texas, right around the Mexico and Texas border. Taking a look at the Futurecast radar to see where you guys will be at right around the 1 p.m. mark today by the time you're watching this video, and this should be around the ballpark in terms of what the radar will look like right around 1 p.m. You see that we do have some scattered thunderstorm clusters right around North Carolina, and we do see a line of thunderstorms throughout Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi. However, I do not expect these to be necessarily severe, mainly because there isn't going to be enough unstable air in this region, and um the cold air just isn't going to move far south enough to behind it to really induce a lot of lift in the atmosphere in this region. However, these thunderstorms could definitely create enhance the risk of maybe some gusty winds associated with it, heavy rainfall, and flash flooding should also be a concern if you're in the line of thunderstorms. So watch out if you're all around the southeast, because these are going to be relatively slow moving, because you see that we do have a lot of thunderstorms, but you see that it doesn't move that much over the morning hours, and it pretty much lingers around the Gulf Coast for quite a while. So for a lot of the Gulf Coast states, just at least keep in mind that there should be an enhanced risk of at least some thunderstorms. There could be that risk that it will be severe. However, I think the risk is only marginal for a lot of the Gulf Coast states, mainly because there isn't going to be as much unstable air as, let's say, other regions like the Carolinas, where I do think the risk definitely increases for severe thunderstorms to more of a moderate risk, mainly because there's going to be a stronger westerly flow right around the Carolinas, and when you're this far up north, you're a little bit closer to the cold air that's pretty much entrained in the northeast at this point. And since the temperatures throughout the Carolinas are very warm right now, if we were to take a look at the current temperatures, keep in mind I'm recording this at almost 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So to put that in perspective, that's around the coldest time period when it comes to temperatures for any region in the world, where around 4 a.m. where you've been out of the sun's shortwave radiation for hours, that's typically when you experience the lowest temperatures. And you see, even at 4 a.m., we see temperatures right around the Carolinas hovering around the 60s and the 70s, which really show that there's a lot of strong southerly winds really bringing warm air throughout the Carolinas, just very warm and humid air, very muggy air, and that's going to set the stage for some severe weather. Because when we have temperatures this warm during the evening hours, during the very late evening hours, it really shows you that this air is full of energy. There's a lot of work between the air molecules, which is inducing a lot of the warmer temperatures you're seeing throughout the Carolinas. And since there's so much work, the air molecules move around more, and it's able to hold a lot more water vapor as a result. And water holding capacity is very important for thunderstorms, because once all that water vapor condenses, it releases latent heat, which is very important when it comes to thunderstorms, because that latent heat will eventually convert into downdrafts, and downdrafts really drive the damaging winds of thunderstorms and really drive convection all around for a lot of these thunderstorms. So when we see temperatures this warm this late at night, it's very concerning because that's going to set the stage for severe weather throughout the Carolinas. And while there obviously, of course, isn't thunderstorms right now, it's a little bit too late for that. The risk of severe thunderstorms will certainly increase as the day goes on because the shortwave radiation of the sun will warm up those temperatures even more, and there's going to be even more unstable air. And another thing too is that this ridge right around the northern United States will move further southward into the Carolinas, and once it does so, the jet stream will also dip a little bit further southward along with that cold Canadian air. And once it interacts with that warmer 80-degree temperature air right around the Carolinas, it's going to set the stage for a severe weather possibility for a lot of Carolinas. I wouldn't say it's going to be at I wouldn't say it's going to be a major severe weather threat because there isn't enough unstable air to really induce just extremely high cape levels or just extremely strong wind shear to induce tornadic activity or maybe or maybe extremely large hail, but it should be enough to at least put a lot of Carolinas, especially North Carolina, the coast of North Carolina, at a moderate risk for severe weather. If we were to take a look at the CAPE levels or the convective available potential energy levels forecasted by the computer models, the GFS model more specifically, you're going to see that there's going to be just enough convective available potential energy throughout the Carolinas to induce some severe weather over there. Taking a look at the surface-based convective available potential energy over the next few hours, you see that there's a little bit in North Carolina, and while it isn't a ton, we've certainly seen higher convective available potential energy levels. It is enough to at least induce just enough lift for thunderstorm activity and severe thunderstorm activity at that. So throughout the Carolinas, you need to keep in mind that there's going to be at least a moderate risk of severe weather, I'd say. So keep a close eye on that for throughout the Carolinas. Now, showing you guys my forecast map of where the majority of the severe weather should be located. Like I've been saying, the Carolinas will experience potentially a moderate risk of severe weather thanks to the jet stream dip that's going to be induced by a ridge that's going to bring strong northerly winds closer to the northeast, which will bring that colder air further southward to interact with the warmer air located in the Carolinas. And we're going to see just enough, or we're going to see that frontal boundary sort of dip down into the warmer temperatures in the afternoon when temperatures are peaking to induce an unstable air mass over here. But another area we need to keep in mind for today is obviously Texas, where you guys also have moderate severe weather risk. However, I do think the severe thunderstorms in Texas will, if they do occur, they will most likely be more severe than the ones we're going to see in the Carolinas because in Texas, there's going to be a lot more noticeable lift in this region thanks to more defined jet stream dip because in the Carolinas the jet stream dip isn't as well defined and it isn't dipping that far south as as most of the interaction between the cold air and the warm air will be more from a southerly northerly direction. But in this case, the cold air will be further westward rather than further northward, and that really creates a more unstable environment in this region to induce higher convective potential energy levels, where we do see a lot of lift right around southeastern Texas, where we do see Cape levels close to 4,000 joules per kilogram, which is just very high and more than enough to induce just a lot of severe weather. And it continues throughout the day throughout southern Texas. And this severe weather is going to be as a direct result of this shortwave trough that's going to dip down as a result of this ridge that's pretty much going to steer it further southeastward along with the jet stream winds and the upper level winds. And since there's a lot of cold air behind this shortwave trough, it's gonna interact with that very warm air that's located in eastern Texas, and it's gonna move further southward during the peak of the afternoon hours, where the temperatures will be the highest throughout Texas and humidity levels will be the highest as a direct result of that, and pressures will be relatively low thanks to how much heat there will be right around eastern Texas as the trough moves further southward. You see that ridge forces this frontal boundary to move further southward, and we do see an area of unstable air to induce some thunderstorm activity and at least moderate wind shear in the upper levels to induce a severe weather threat. So we need to keep a close eye on it for Texas. If we are to take a look at what the Storm Prediction Center is saying should be the main risk for associated with these thunderstorms, you see very large hail is possible with this activity along with damaging winds. So this isn't just going to be some regular hail that could fall. It could be very large hail, and it's primarily going to affect, I'd say, closer to the Texas and Mexico border, right around south central Texas. Should Is where the main concern should be. Where is pretty much where you guys should be paying close attention to this, because again, these thunderstorms could be very severe, and I want you all to stay safe during these severe thunderstorms. And if the thunderstorm clusters are large enough, there is also that possibility that maybe the severe weather threat moves further eastward to maybe closer along the Texas coast or a little bit further westward. So even if you might not be necessarily in the yellow risk, you need to keep in mind that forecasts are certainly subject to change even 24 hours out. So we need to keep a close eye on it over the next couple of hours to see what changes will be made to the current forecast. In terms of the rainfall over the next 5 days, another issue that could arise from these thunderstorm clusters is flooding, because since we're going to experience just a big jet stream dip that's going to dominate a lot of the northern United States for a lot of this week, it's likely that we're going to experience more now we're certainly going to experience higher rainfall as a result of this jet stream dip, because this jet stream dip is just going to induce just very heavy thunderstorm activity, and just there's just going to be enough unstable air to induce just heavy rain for long periods of time, thanks to how long this jet stream dip is going to last. So as a result, heavy rain should be the issue, where 2 to 4 inches could be possible over the next 5 days throughout the southeast. And the southeast just been experiencing a lot of thunderstorms pretty much all year. So to add on more rain to that is certainly not something we want to see. The rain is certainly beneficial for Texas, because a lot of Texas, especially closer to western Texas, has been in a very bad drought. So this should help a little bit, but for those eastward, such as the Mississippi River Valley states of the southeast, it's certainly something we don't want to see, because you guys already experienced just very heavy rain all year. So to see more is just going to add insult to injury. So just keep in mind, if you're nearby a river or a small creek, that flooding could be an issue associated with these thunderstorms. But outside the severe weather threats today, the severe weather threats should wind down over the next couple of days, mainly because there isn't going to be because the jet stream will eventually straighten out to the point where we're not going to see much interactions between the colder air and the warmer air. And yeah, it's mainly going to be a rain shower threat for a lot of the southeast as the next couple of days. Severe weather should wind down, which is certainly good news. However, like I said, we also need to keep in mind that there could maybe be a severe weather threat next week for a lot of the Midwest. If we were to take a look, move forward, you see over the next 5 days, it's expected to be mainly quiet, because this ridge is going to dominate a lot of the United States, bringing mainly dry conditions throughout the United States. And since the jet stream will eventually straighten out, there isn't going to be any area where the pressure will be lower enough to induce maybe a lot of rain anywhere in the United States or a lot of severe weather. However, if we head into next week, there's going to be more troughs that are going to move through from from the Pacific Northwest, and that could induce our next severe weather threat, depending on how much cold air is going to be behind a lot of these troughs coming off the Pacific Northwest. Obviously, I'm going like very far out with these forecasts, but I'd say right around the 6 to 7 day mark. The GFS model is forecasting areas where severe weather could be possible right around the Great Plains, and that's certainly a surprise because for a lot of this year, it's been just a very quiet severe weather season for the Great Plains, mainly because you guys been in such a extreme drought. So to see some severe weather isn't something you've been experiencing a lot in the Midwest, but we could be now entering that season as typically May is one of the most active months when it comes to severe weather in the core Midwest states. So we could see that pattern change from mainly impacted from severe weather storms mainly impact southeast and Midwest, but we just have to wait and see. If we were to take a look at the convective available potential energy levels right around the 6 day mark, you see that the GFS is forecasting a pretty big area of lift in the atmosphere right around the Midwest states. So we need to keep a close eye on it over the next several days. However, 7 days out, there's still a lot that could change, but I'll make sure to update you guys during the next up couple of forecast videos. But yeah, guys, I guess that's it for this video. I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather records. Make sure to like if you like this video. Make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather content. And I hope you guys have a good day.